Hey guys, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope that we're keeping up with the material, especially now that things are due sort of the next day rather than having the extra time from last week. So I'm sure you're up to date on that. And I just want to pick up with a little simple math lesson here that we're going to take this next section super slow because it can get very complicated. What we're figuring out again is credit card is a loan. And so when you borrow money, you have to pay back all of that money plus interest plus more for the privilege of borrowing it. The way to not get interest charged, a finance charge is what it's called, is to pay back within the grace period, pay back everything that you borrow within a month, and you don't have to worry about it. But if you do have a credit card and plan to carry a balance with the credit card, that means that you're going to be subject to finance charges and interest. And that's true for any loan, not just a credit card. And I hope that you had the time to read through that what I shared yesterday. If not, read it, please, because it does a good job of explaining what APR is, annual percentage rate. That's annual percentage rate of interest. And the different kinds of APRs that you could find in different loans and different credit cards. Now, the thing is, the reason that APR is the most important number is because when you're looking for credit cards or loans, because different credit cards calculate interest in different ways. Different loans calculate interest in different ways. But APR is like the unifying one way of comparing apples to apples, knowing what you're going to have to do or how much you're going to have to pay on an annual basis, because it's not always done annually. Credit cards don't just charge you interest once a year. They charge you interest sometimes every day, sometimes every month. There are different ways of calculating it. So as part of understanding what the APR is that you're going to have to deal with, you're also going to have to understand how and when that interest is calculated. Okay. And so if APR is annual percentage rate, how much interest you're charged in 1 year, there's also what's called a periodic interest rate, which is how much interest you'd be charged for a certain period. How often they charge interest is the period. And that's what I want us to take a look at just quickly here today. I have a picture here where you're going to look at, I have a chart here basically. And you're given a balance that would be subject to a finance charge. This picture is shared with you on Classroom. So this is how much, in other words, this first one, $213.57 is what they didn't pay back on credit card. So it's subject to a fine in the specified grace period. So it's subject to a finance charge. The credit card's interest APR, annual percentage rate, is 15% annually, but they charge interest. The period is monthly. So to find the periodic rate, it's very simple. All that you would have to do here would be to take the APR, which is 15%. So I'm going to type that in as 0.15 and then divide that by the period. So if the period is monthly, you're going to divide that by 12. If the period is daily, like the second one, you're going to divide that by 365. So for the first one, since it's monthly, I'm going to divide by 12. And then I get this number as the periodic rate. So they're charged 15% annually, but every month this person with this balance is charged 1.25%. And so that is the answer that I would put right here, periodic rate. You can put it as 1.25%, or you could put it as 0.0125 is fine as well. But then you want to figure out how many periods have occurred since they've been subject to finance charge. So in this last column up here, where it says finance charge, how much are they going to be charged for that period? So this is just 1 month of borrowing, it says on the credit card. So to figure out what the finance charge would be, get your calculator back out. okay? And you leave that, I'm going to leave that periodic rate in there, and I'm going to multiply that rate times the balance that they owe. So if you go back over, look at my pointer here, this is how much was subject to the finance charge, $213.57. So I'm going to multiply that amount by $213.57. And this is how much it equals. That's how much interest they would be charged for that month. So round that to dollars and cents, $2.67 is the finance charge that they would be charged that month. If it says 30 days for the period, you're then going to be multiplying that by 30. So basically, the last step that you would do would be, this is only 1 month, so I would have to multiply that times 1, which, same thing back. But then you'd have to figure out what the total finance charge would be with the second one for 30 days. So what I would like you to do today is, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other numbers to fill out on this chart. So let's see if we can fill those out, get the correct answers, and we'll go over that tomorrow. The big idea here again is APR is see, some of these are charging daily periods, 30 days, monthly periods, 1 month. They charge interest differently. APR is the way you can compare apples to apples to see which one could possibly be the best credit card for you. You want the lowest APR. So what we're trying to figure out then is, how does it work period by period, and how much finance charge would they get subject to this balance? Okay. I think we'll try to do, if you have any questions, we'll try to do a Google Meet with you guys this week at some point. More information on that coming, depending upon my schedule. So, but for today, I'd like you to just fill out the other 5 entries in the periodic rate column, and the other 5 entries in the finance charge column for here. And I look forward to seeing